MLB Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson, a.k.a. Mr. October, made his return to Birmingham, Alabama Thursday for the Rickwood Field game, between the San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals. Excuse me. Now, as we all know, Jackson, a Hall of Famer, he won 5 World Series championships with the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees back in the 70s. We all know him as Mr. October, but starting out his baseball career, he played in the minor leagues in Birmingham, Alabama. And over the years, he has definitely shared the horrible experiences he had to endure due to racism. And he got very candid about it as Alex Rodriguez asked his return to Rickwood and Birmingham after all these years and recalled all the experiences that he had to endure, as an individual, and also the backlash his team suffered as well. And here's the audio clip of his pre-game interview with Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz here on MLB on Fox. I'll play the audio. I'll be back with my commentary.
Has been passed for over a century here. We've been talking earlier about if it wasn't for the Willie Mays, the Jackie Robinson, the Reggie Jacksons, the 3 of us wouldn't have an opportunity to play. How emotional is it for you to come back to a play that you played with one of the greatest teams around?
Alex, when people ask me a question like that, it's like coming back here is not easy. The racism that I played here, when I played here, the difficulty of going through different places where we traveled. Fortunately, I had a manager and I had players on the team that helped me get through it. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody. People said to me today, I spoke, and they said, you think you're a better person? You think you won when you played here in Concord? I said, I would never want to do it again. I walked into restaurants and they would point at me and said, can't eat here. I would go to a hotel and they say, then can't stay here. We went to Charlie Finley's country club for a welcome home dinner and they pointed me out with the N-word. He can't come in here. Finley marched the whole team out. Finally, they let me in there. He said, we're going to go to the diner and eat hamburgers. We'll go where we're wanted. Fortunately, I had a manager, Johnny McNamara, that if I couldn't eat in the place, nobody would eat. We'd get food to travel. If I couldn't stay in a hotel, they'd drive to the next hotel and find a place where I could stay. Had it not been for Raleigh Fingers, Johnny McNamara, Dave Duncan, Joe and Sharon Rudy, I slept on their couch 3-4 nights a week for about a month and a half. Finally, they were threatened that they would burn our apartment complex down unless I got out. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. The year I came here, Bull Connor was the sheriff the year before. And they took minor league baseball out of here because in 1963, the Klan murdered 4 black girls, children, in 11, 12, 14 years old at a church here and never got indicted. They were from the Klan. Life magazine did a story on them like they were being honored. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. At the same time, had it not been for my white friends, had it not been for a white manager and Rudy, Fingers, and Duncan, and Lee Myers, I would have never made it. I was too physically violent. I was ready to physically fight I'd have got killed here because I'd have beat someone's ass, and you'd have saw me in an oak tree somewhere.
Reggie, I can't even imagine. It's awful you had to go through that, but appreciate you sharing the rawness and the honesty of it with our audience. I mean, really, it's
We love you, Reg.
Yeah. Thank you.
Quick history lesson right there.
That's a great history lesson.
You.
Reggie Jackson telling us all about it, preaching. Wow, that's unbelievable. The great Reggie Jackson, the Hall of Famer, joining us here, and we've got more to do.
All right. You heard the audio clip. Definitely shout out to Reggie Jackson for definitely relaying that story to us and sharing his experience that he endured back then as a young minor league player in Alabama as he made his return. And Reggie Jackson over the years has definitely shared his experience on the racism he endured while playing in Alabama. And that's very messed up that here's a man that is playing on the same team as his white teammates, and they wouldn't allow him to eat in a country club or stay in the same hotel as his teammates, or even be at the party where his manager at the time was being honored. You know, they just would not allow him in there just because he was black. And also, it's even more messed up that, you know, he was just, you know, that his teammates were gracious enough to let him stay in their place, and the people who were living there threatened to firebomb it just because he was there. That's horrible. And also, he mentioned the fact about the 4 little girls who were killed in that bombing back in '63 in Alabama as well, and also mentioned Bull Connor. So Reggie Jackson definitely went through a lot of ish back in his day playing in Alabama. And I understand his feelings towards it because it was no happy time. And this was supposed to be the happiest time in his young life, in his young career as a baseball player. But it turned out to be the worst of times. He endured racism, discrimination, bigotry, hostility, threats from all the folks who lived down there. And not only he was getting threatened, his teammates were getting threatened for even just playing with him or just, you know, staying in the same apartment as them, excuse me. You know? And here's the ironic part. Reggie Jackson is 78 years old. He's the same age as Donald Trump. So anybody who sits up and say that, you know, that, oh, it was all good for Reggie because he had this excellent Hall of Fame career, I got a bridge and a few empty lots to sell you. And anyone who sits up and says he's he's claiming victimhood, guess what? That you just being dismissive of his whole story and his past, you know, you dismissing his whole preface on how he got to be Mr. October. And he's not claiming victimhood. He's telling his experiences. He's relaying his reality to us. That's all he's doing. Because y'all wouldn't tell no other person that they're claiming victimhood and they need to get over it. Because I know some people who are watching that, who either saw that interview or watched that clip or sitting up saying that stuff. No, Reggie Jackson's not being a victim. He's sharing his story on how he became a victor and a champion. And once again, shout out to Reggie Jackson for keeping it real about racism and just laying it all out there on the table, unfiltered, no sugar, no filter, unsugarcoated. And that's how it needs to be in order for us to start dealing with this issue. Because we keep on just trying to keep it sugar coated, we still gonna be in the dark like some of us are now.